I had to suffer, so you're gonna have to suffer with me. Now we got Jasmine Crockett here. I think that's enough of a statement. I'll just let her say what.
As far as I'm concerned, you randomly kidnapping folk and you throwing them out of the country against their civil rights, against their constitutional rights. And frankly, how would they feel if some other country decided that they were going to just start throwing people randomly in our country? Like that is absolutely insane.
You sound so stupid. Stupid. Like you don't even believe the BS you just said. Like, let's just play back what she said. Hold on.
Decided that they were going to just start throwing people randomly in our country.
Ain't that exactly what happened? Weren't over, let's say, around 20 million people thrown in our country? What are you talking about? One more time, y'all. I may have missed something.
As far as I'm concerned, you randomly kidnapping folk and you throwing them out of the
randomly kidnapping folk. No, these are planned kidnaps.
The country against their civil rights, against their
civil rights. You're here illegally. And last I checked, with the law, you go through two processes. There's one which, yes, you do get afforded a hearing. And then there's also the expedited process where no hearing is needed. Stop lying to people.
Constitutional rights. And frankly, how would they feel if some other country decided that they were going to just start throwing people randomly in our country?
The exact reason why we was looking at your boy Chris Van Hollen going over to El Salvador, trying to force them to bring him back over here. You don't even make sense.
Like that is absolutely insane. So yes, all I gotta say is y'all need to get these fools out of here. But Deborah,
oh man. Prettiest people do the ugliest things. Yes, right there, man. You're making a claim that these illegal aliens have rights. It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. And I understand now from looking at the law and everything that they are, in certain cases, they are afforded a hearing, but in other cases, they are not. And this is one of those cases. They're trying to expedite the process. We have 20 million illegals in this country. Well, I'm sure it's less than that at this point now, but under the Biden administration, Jesse Waters has reached his absolute limit on Jessica Turlov's BS. You're wrong about everything, and I don't believe anything you say. Today is just one of them days. Look, I was sick. I've been sick. I got sick yesterday. I was sick Monday. I'm dealing with some health issues. Nothing that's gonna be life-threatening if I don't get in front of. Anywho, nothing to feel sorry about right now. But saying that, all to say, after coming off of that little, what I thought was my last laying down, I'll just say it like that. I ain't got time for this BS no more, man. Today y'all getting a different bliss. I'm just saying that, bro. We cutting it straight to we cutting straight and dry.
I don't believe anything you say anymore. You're wrong about everything. Every time you come up with these things, first he's a Maryland dad, then actually he does have tattoos that spell MS-13. Yeah, and then there's this other tattoo expert that you have. I thought we were supposed to trust the experts, right? And all these experts say this guy's a gangbanger, and you don't trust the experts. Let me ask you this. When a guy hangs out with MS-13 and gets picked up in a gang sweep, how is it that the MS-13 ranking gang members are allowing a non-gang member to hang out with them?
Doesn't make sense.
I think that's a little bit of a security risk, Jessica.
I don't understand why the common sense just ain't clicking. It's like, come on, dog. Like a judge already.
That's like when the feds raid a Gambino gambling den. And do you think it would be believable if some Italian guy was like, I'm not in the mob? Yeah, they're just letting random guys play cards in a gambling den with a bunch of mafioso. Use your brain, Jessica. And I don't even believe you're this 2-year-old nonsense. Oh, you just listen to what the lawyers for these migrants tell you. And then the day later, it's all wrong. You know what the protocol is? When you pick up an illegal, you don't know this. I'll tell you this for the first time. When you pick up an illegal and they happen to have their kid with them, they get a choice. Do you want to be deported with your child, or you can assign a family member or a guardian here in the United States to leave the child there? That's the choice. And if you don't like the law, then go to Congress, change the law. Because otherwise, you just get women here, coming here, breaking through the border, having babies, and they all get to stay because you feel bad. I'm sorry. You can feel bad about a lot of things, but I'd rather follow the law.
Amen to that. Amen to that. I don't understand why people want to insert their feelings into this situation. Sure, of course, I'm one of them people, one of these creators who I don't negate the fact that I have feelings and empathy for people. I know you have all these other content creators and conservative commentators who will get on here and be like, oh, F all that, man. I ain't got no heart for that. You broke the law. Yeah, so cool. I'm on the side of you break the law, you deal with the consequences. You can't sit there and pick and choose your consequences. However, I am human enough to say that I don't like the idea of families being separated, despite that older human having the knowledge to make sure that child wouldn't be in that position. Just the empathetic part. Doesn't mean that I'm empathizing with it and I'm like, oh, well, you know, stop the deportation. No, I'm just a human, bro. I got a heart. It's just what it is. I don't like seeing families separated under most circumstances. I'll have to say that like that. But in no way, shape, or form do I overall feel bad for these illegal that's getting caught. No. Sure, I can go, that's sad. The family has been taken away. But right after that thought, it's, hey, bro, you knew that was a risk. You knew what kind of risk you was putting your family up against. Why didn't you take care of it? I don't feel sorry for none of that, bro. Sure, I can go, yeah, you know, I'm sure they ain't got a pops or whatever the case for a little bit, but hey, that's his fault. Do better. Rep. Ilhan Omar tells journalists to F off when asked if more of her colleagues would travel to visit a deported MS-13 gang member.
Congresswoman Omar, I'm Miles Morrell with the Daily Caller News Foundation. Do you think more of your Democratic colleagues should be traveling to El Salvador to advocate on behalf of Rodrigo Garcia?
I think you should fuck off. Yeah,
that's I'm sorry, what, Congresswoman?
Fuck off.
Who should?
You.
Why me?
We're not taking any questions right now, but here you go.
Yeah, thanks. Congress.
Gunther asks, Ilhan Omar should have been deported, should have already been deported, excuse me. Arrested 23 times, daughter of a Somali terrorist, committed marriage and immigration fraud. Yeah, she was married to her brother, remember? ISIS and Al-Qaeda sympathizer, making a mockery of the U.S. government. These people, what do y'all loyalty lie? Oh my God, we got more.
It is not a criminal violation to enter the country.
Shut up. I can't deal with it. I ain't got time today. What else we got? We got Scott Jennings. He says Democrats allow 20 million illegal immigrants to walk into this country with no process. Now they want President Trump to give these people who broke the law years of due process before he can send them back home. Make it make sense to me. Let's get to it, y'all.
It seems to me that the political analysis of this, though, is, and a lot of average people are looking at it this way. Why is it that we can let 20 million people into the country just walk across, whatever, and there's no real process for them to do that, but then we have to individually pick out every single person and go through years upon years upon years of paperwork and this and that and the other, and all we're trying to do is send them back to where they came from because they came here illegally in the first place. 20 million in with no process. How do you get 20 million out with years and years of people fighting every single case? You could cherry pick any case you want. But the reality is the crisis that put Donald Trump in the White House was caused over years and years and years of neglect and letting people walk into here without any process at all. And now you're trying to gum up the works to keep them here.
What do you mean it's not true? They literally didn't do anything to prevent this. Trump gets in office, we have the lowest record-breaking crossings ever. Come on, man. Start me up with the BS, bro. What do you got to rebuttal to that?
A lot of them came in with parole. A lot of them came in.
CNN polling shows 54% of Americans want Mr.
November
Rodrigo
polling
Garcia
showed Donald
back.
Trump won the
That's
election.
CNN polling.
The
public is shifting.
All right.
We are a sovereign nation, and you cannot just come into our country illegally whenever the heck you want, because we can't do it to any other country on the face of this
Asylum
earth.
is a legal right.
If you come
Amen to
illegally,
that.
you have to leave. Americans are tired of that. We do not have unlimited resources.
You know who was here
We have to
illegally
care
with a
for our own people
deportation order?
first.
Marco Rubio's grandfather.
All right.
We're not talking about Marco Rubio.
Oh, now we're not? Now that's not relevant?
It's not
No,
relevant.
I'm talking
It's not
about Marco
relevant to this
Rubio because
conversation
Marco
at
Rubio
all.
used to be an advocate for TPS for Venezuelans, and Marco Rubio used to be
I'm not Marco
an advocate
Rubio,
for Nicaraguans and Cubans. No, I know you're not.
If you come to this country illegally, you are going home. Simple as that. We do not have unlimited resources.
I think a lot of Americans
to take care of other people.
There's a hell of a lot of people, other than the black people who were brought here as slaves, who came.
What the fudge did you have to say about what? What did he say to indicate black people at all? What did he say that made her point out an ethnicity? I'm listening to the same conversation. Maybe I'm not perfect. Some could have went over my head, and I could be going strong right now. Y'all gonna deflate me in the comments. I'm all for it. I don't mind it. I don't mind being wrong, because I'm all about getting right. That's all we care. But what did he say that made okay?
I think
now I'm not going to do the whole liberal Democrat thing and just, oh my God, race. I hear where she's going with this first, but I just don't see no point of it right now.
a lot of Americans
take care of other people.
There's a hell of a lot of people, other than the black people who were brought here as slaves, who came to this country illegally.
They're not the same as black people who were brought here against our will.
That's exactly what I just said. I said there is a lot of people
There's a big difference. There is a big difference.
That's exactly what I just said.
Now she's trying to clean it up. I'm sorry, y'all. Am I wrong? But she just compared the illegal immigrants of today to black people who were brought over to America on ships. Sure, somebody can go, oh, well, she technically wasn't said. Bro, that's what the fuck I just heard. Y'all gonna stop playing with my intelligence, man. By the way, I'm in a good mood, by the way, y'all. I know I'm all anger and stuff. Y'all see me up super passionate today, but I got a new love for this YouTube stuff, y'all. I feel like I've been taking it for granted for the last couple of months. And, you know, the hell. Anywho, back to this.
Big difference.
That's exactly what I just said, Sir Michael. Look and act indignant. That's exactly what I just said.
Acting indignant.
Let me just heard Chair Michael.
Other than the black
Anna and Chair Michael, please.
There are a lot of people from
Chair
many
Michael, I think
many
you
countries
actually
that came
misheard
here
what
illegally.
I think you misheard what she said.
No, he purposely misheard it.
She said.
Ain't no purposely misheard nothing, man. Ain't no purposely misheard nothing. I'm tired of y'all doing that. I heard what she said. I interpreted it. How do I say? Paraphrase it in a way that, like, hey, okay, this is what you said. And then when I said it, it's like, oh, no, that's not what I said. Get the fuck out my face, man.
So now you're in my
Chair
brain?
Michael, listen to me for just a second.
Is that where we're going?
You think
Michael,
I would say I who have advocated for black people my entire life would say something like that?
Anna,
because you've advocated for black people, great, congratulations. Last time I checked, I'm black, you're not.
Okay, Chair Michael.
That's right. I'm Latino and my people are being racially profiled.
It is.
Now we're doing the victim Olympics between both of them. Like, not...
Remind you the history of my people?
Sure,
do you want to go there?
No, I don't.
Do you really want to go
we're going to go to break.
We're
going to go to break. Raul Reyes, thank you very much for joining us. Everybody else, hang tight. We'll be right back.
When I was studying history, like the
CNN, man, they just be messy, yo. Messy! But you can't deport them like that to a damn prison. Then 2, 4, and 7-year-old deported that. What? America has always deported illegal immigrants back to their home countries. Why do these Democrats all of a sudden have a problem with that? I have no clue. And they are doing their best to try to take up for these people. Like, it's sad, man. So we got Democrat Rep Jamie Raskin right here. Lie about Kilmar's MS-13 tattoos by referencing a tattoo on his arm instead of the clear gang tattoos he has on his knuckles.
He had no association with any criminal gang, and yet he was sent to the dictator of El Salvador. He was arrested and swept up and flown out of the country to El Salvador as part of the government's Dragnet campaign against Tren de Aragua. But he had no criminal record. There were no outstanding criminal charges against him. And he had no association with any criminal gang. And yet he was sent to the dictator of El Salvador because he has a tattoo on his right arm which was mistakenly associated with Tren de Aragua. In fact, the tattoo is of a soccer ball topped with a crown which signifies his favorite soccer club, Real Madrid. Had there been any kind of due process fair hearing, he would have been able quickly to explain the government's error. And there being no other evidence against him, he would have been released. He was arrested in
Y'all know Donald Trump did that interview with ABC recently, and they were saying that was photoshopped and that was fake. No, the photo Trump held up was not faked. Yes, Kilmar Abrego Garcia's knuckles, have MS-13 gang tattoos. The length. The failing legacy news media is willing to go to defend a foreigner. Illegal, white-beating gangbanger is truly something else.
Based on your time as a DEA agent in the field, particularly in Mexico, these tattoos are consistent with MS-13 associations.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Do you know of any other set of combinations that would suggest some other organization this represents?
With this particular one, no, sir.
Based on your...
Now, shout out to my guy, Stephen Miller. Quote, it's a sad reflection on the state of our media and many outlets represented in this room that you obsessively try to shield for this MS-13 terrorist when no coverage occurred in your papers about any of the Americans that were... I'll let him finish.
It is a sad reflection on the state of our media and many of the outlets represented in this room that you obsessively try to shield for this MS-13 terrorist. Well, no coverage occurred in your papers about any of the Americans that were raped and tortured and murdered by the illegals that Biden was importing into our country. You know, you talk about due process. The Biden administration made the decision to give extensive due process to 2 trained Nicaragua terrorists that were apprehended at the border just a couple years ago. They were 2 gentlemen. They were from Venezuela. They were members of trained Nicaragua. The Biden administration Border Patrol apprehended them and made the decision to provide them with extensive due process, put them onto a program known as supervised release, and put them on ankle monitors so that they could go through a lengthy, legal, judicial determination as to whether these legal aliens who had just set foot on U.S. soil might want to live in the United States for the rest of their lives. What was the result of that decision? What was the result of that choice that was made? Those 2 men kidnapped a young girl named Jocelyn Ungary from her family. They beat her. They sexually assaulted her. They tortured her, they stripped her, they murdered her, and they dumped her body. That is what the Biden administration's policy was. Most of your papers never covered her story when it happened. To the extent that you covered it at all, it was because President Trump forced you to cover it by highlighting it repeatedly over and over again. He had to shame you into covering it. And each and every one of you that sides over and over again with these MS-13 terrorists, to the extent that you have the financial means to do so, you all choose to live in condos or homes or houses as far away from these kinds of gangbangers as you possibly can. If I offered any one of you a rent-free home with no taxes to pay in any of these gang neighborhoods, and I said your neighbors are MS-13 terrorists or Mexican mafia or Sinaloa cartel or trained Nicaragua, I couldn't pay you to live there. But yet you, with your coverage, are trying to force innocent Americans to have these people as their neighbors, and that one day their daughter may be abducted from their home and raped and murdered. So you're not going to get an ounce of sympathy from this administration or President Trump for the terrorists who've invaded our homes and our country.
I know that's right. I know that's right. I know that's right. Huge kudos to Stephen Miller for this. I mean, I just hate how they pick and choose. I don't like the fact that we live in this very narrated era. It just pisses me off. I mean, I realize that to a lot of people, I contribute to. I'm in the same boat, but it's just so annoying when you got the left-wing media blurring the lines so much that when somebody actually come and tell you the truth or try to prevent objective facts, not my opinion. Forget how I feel. This has a metal, tail on it. Or, metal tail. Somebody go, oh, no, that's just your perception. No, bro, it's not how I feel. It's a literal metal tail with plastic, comb hooks. And, it's just, you got somebody coming, no, that's not that. It's not that. I feel like it's plastic. That's the kind of world that we live in today, man. But you know why? Because, man, we people don't know how to. You can tell people have been sheltered their whole life and been everything that, instead of having to defend themselves, they've been defended for. That's one aspect. Then you just got people out here who just genuinely cannot think critically. Ain't no other way to sugarcoat that. Got people out just can't think critically. And all of a sudden, they just want rules to apply. And they want, let me gather my thoughts, y'all, because I'm kind of all over the place. The way that these Democrats are defending this illegal is something to admire, in my opinion. You will want this type of loyalty. I want this type of love and loyalty to me. I don't understand what it is about this guy, this gang member that has been verified as a gang member that they want to continue to defend and switch to Maryland, man. And, he's a father. And then you had a mother come out and then you find out that he was beating on her. And legacy media reporting the truth is something that I don't see happening, man. Y'all be safe. Please go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Thank y'all for everything. I love you. For real, I do.